hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, they got a restart zone to go. Green flag is out. Underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
From Talladega Superspeedway, tonight the Glove Station ARCA Series returns for its 4th season, and we're getting the Lincoln Tech Fall Series started at our sport's largest oval, the 2.66-mile behemoth in Lincoln, Alabama. These drivers are putting up the window nets and getting ready to turn 40 laps on these high banks. And I'm Dave Riegel. Tonight, I'm alongside the great Eddie Smith, who's on the 1s and 2s and everything in between here in the broadcast booth, with Dougie Beard's cameras giving us all of these amazing angles of this race that you're about to experience. We're ready, you're ready, so let's bring on the GLR ARCA Series right here on V-Speed. And Eddie, as I said, here we are opening up season number 4. The summer series is over and the Pro and Am divisions have been drawn. That line is in the sand.
I can't wait. It's the best time of year when the fall series gets going. Glove Station ARCA Series, one of the best series in the entire Goat Locker. I mean, there's a lot of good ones, so that is a high bar to clear. And it's just the best. It's the most competitive. And then you add the Pro-Am split, which I just think is fantastic. You're fighting. Overall, you're fighting everybody. You're also fighting your own class. So you've got the pro class, you've got the amateur class. We've seen some movement between those two, and so I'm excited to see how that's also going to play out. We also have the Team Pro-Am Championships to talk about as we go on. A pro and an Am are put together, which I think is just really cool. So this season is going to be spectacular, and we couldn't do it without Glove Station, I'll tell you that.
No, Glove Station has been an incredible partner, and of course we want to thank them for everything that they do. And here at Glove Station, we're committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs, from tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between. We've got you covered. With endless amounts of safety products on the market, we want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. And of course, head on over there to glovestation.com. Let's talk a little bit about our conditions tonight. Now, pre-race here, right now, outdoor ambient air temperature about 77 degrees. That track temp, though, that's where it's at, 123 degrees. That is a lot of room for slipping and sliding on these asphalt banks. I mean, 33 degrees in the turns. You're never really off a bank, and, that's going to really loosen this racetrack up for these drivers.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are going to be locked down to the track. The temperature, they won't play too much, I don't think, but it's still hot, still slick. One mistake could make a difference, and I think it's going to be plenty of mistakes tonight. Of course, you talked about it, Talladega Superspeedway. What a way to start a season. Jump right in to one of the biggest tracks, the wildest the largest track in America. I mean, the biggest super speedway at 2.66 miles, 33-degree banking. And, man, I'll tell you what, just going to be a blast. So, what a way to start a season, Dave. Talladega with a full field.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that full field, we have almost 60 drivers. Actually, we have 59 at the moment. Now, the catch to that is that only 40 are going to make the field tonight. 40 pit boxes, 40 drivers out on the racetrack. So that means that about 19 of them are going to have to go home early tonight. And I'm curious to see which one of them it's going to be. I'm taking a look right now at Brett Bieber on the racetrack as he's warming up during practice. And, I mean, he's one half of the Route 73 Mafia, and those guys are incredible. We've seen a lot of drivers come back from last season. Of course, there's Charles Abert and Jeremiah Holt, Jamie Libke. I'm expecting to see a lot of good racing out of these drivers as drivers now just coming off of the field with about 2 seconds, now none, left in practice. That makes qualifying that much more important, especially because this is single car qualifying. We're going to see those track times probably about 52, 54 seconds, in these ARCA cars getting around here.
Yeah, and qualifying never more important. I mean, normally you'd say, "Oh, I'll start in the back. I'll just hang around, maybe start from the pits." Not tonight. We've got over 50 people signed up, 40 spots. And so you're going to have to go out there and nail this qualifying lap. You have to find all the tricks. You got to do all the things that you normally would do to have a fast lap. And tonight's going to be interesting to see who makes it, who goes home. You see a lot of folks starting in the back of these races, try to stay out of trouble. But tonight, not going to be able to do that. As you see Daniel Cunningham from the Pro Division coming out onto the track. And you can see those banners on the car. And the blue banner will indicate a pro driver, and the red banner will indicate a amateur driver. So you'll be able to kind of notice the difference just based on banner alone. Of course, we'll have some different visuals to be able to help with that. But right now, you can see Daniel Cunningham working the outside, trying to get that speed up and try to get that qualifying time. It's going to be super important.
Yeah, the Mothman 88 right now, he's only up about 170 miles per hour, now 172. Coming down toward the front stretch. And one of the things that's interesting about this racetrack, and I know that we've all heard it, during other broadcasts and, of course, on the radio and television, but this track, the start-finish line is actually beyond the apex of the Tri-Oval. The idea, of course, originally was that Big Bill France, when he built this place, wanted to be able to sell those seats that were down toward Turn 1. So he moved the start-finish line, and now you can fill that whole grandstand with more than 100,000 people. But Cunningham here on this second lap, he's really not hugging the double yellow line, and that's going to be the out of bounds once we go green flag racing. But he's definitely giving himself some room here, working around the bottom of the racetrack as we're starting to see some of these drivers come around. Cunningham yet to lay down an official time. Looks like Kevin Price also out on the track, just finishing his first lap. As we wait, here he comes through the Tri-Oval. And again, now watch where the start-finish line is. There's the restart zone. And as Daniel Cunningham crosses the start-finish line, he's going to go with a 54.84 and now is immediately passed by just about everybody at 54.81 by Mike Browning in the four car.
Yeah. Mark Whitley goes straight up to the top.
And he has just decided that was enough. Brock Price now going out there. Everybody shuffling toward the top of the pile as we stay here with the 88. And I'm guessing he's going to, there he is, hugging a little bit closer to that yellow line. We're going to have to see a lot of people start to try to make this racetrack shorter. I mean, one of the hardest things at a place that's this size is getting any kind of an advantage. This isn't, can I feather the throttle a little bit differently going into the turn? You're wide open 80% of this race.
Yeah, and this car is so bogged down that you just don't have the speed. You're 175 miles an hour here, about top speed by yourself, and that means that every little bit of speed that you can get is so important. Handling, you're just completely locked down to the track, and we could see them all coming in right now, and that point that you're not going to be able to make the race, I believe, is 40th. And as you look down the list, right now, Brian Frauheiger sits on that 40th position at the moment as we have more and more cars crossing the start-finish line.
Yeah, we're just about at the end here, about a little less than 90 seconds left in qualifying. So even if you haven't gone out, you better try now. And of course, one of the things I think Goat Locker does better than almost everywhere is they hold the line on those rules. There's no room for wiggle. And, of course, Goat Locker is why we're all here. You can head on over to goatlockerracing.org/donate to make a contribution. And Goat Locker Racing, to me, and we've talked about it so many times, as you can scan that QR code right here in the middle of your screen and take a look at everything that Goat Locker does. I mean, first of all, they take veterans and first responders and give them a home here on iRacing.com. Of course, veterans and first responders, sometimes especially coming home from overseas, they need a place to fit in. And I'll tell you what, Pat and everybody in the leadership at Goat Locker Racing do an incredible job at finding, that community, that sense of community. I mean, that's how I wound up here, just by feeling like I was at home.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what Goat Locker is all about, and qualifying just about over. But it's what this exists for. They actually give out sim rigs to deserving veterans who have served in our military, that in Indiana, and of course, Goat Locker has a wide reach. But here, it's the sim rigs are from Indiana, and it's a generous grant given by the Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, giving folks who have served, diversion therapy. It's just a great community. Being able to come and race and be a part of this community, it's just great. It's a great place. It's so much more than a racing league. Tonight we're going to be talking about racing, but there's a lot of people who hang around here just because they love what Goat Locker does, and there's a reason why we have racing 7 nights a week this season. So it's going to be pretty incredible. So. Pretty amazing. Let's jump into the grid. What do you say?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm ready to award the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award for the first time this season, right here to Dave Calvert Sr. in his Chevrolet. Jam Printing and Promotions out of Plainfield, Indiana. We are local and we are veteran certified, and when we do well, we can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company, and they, of course, sponsor the Pole Award across all of our series this season, so we thank them. And, of course, on the front row, alongside of Dave Calvert Sr., going to be Ryzen Baker in the double natural. That's 77 joining him on the front row. Noah Hoagie Hogard and Chance Taylor to be in row number 2, as Chance Taylor has yet to get in the machine. Chuck Pegleg Feltz and Matt Myers going to be in row number 3. Starting 7th is Samuel Yosef and Benjamin Richards in 8th position. And rounding out the starting top 10 in row number 5 is Kevin Price and Patrick Fuller in lucky 13.
A lot of amateurs in the top 10. I'd love to see that. Andy Kurt's going to be rounding out the 11th position with Kyle Deering in that 12th spot. In 13th is Mark Cofield with Ricky Six Jr. in 14th. In 15th, Timothy Peters with Jamie Lipke in 16th. 17th, Tyler Justice, Jason Christen in that 18th spot. Joseph McWhorter going to start 19th with Conrad Whedon in 20th.
Starting in 21st is Graham Connolly with Jake Ham to his outside in row number 11 and 22nd. Moving on to 23rd is Barrett Morton, starting the number 9 and 23rd alongside Timothy Wilmus in the 86. 25th goes to William Gregory, and the outside of row number 13 is Mikhail Jones. Row 14 features 2 great drivers, Brock Price and Douglas Macedo. And row 15, and rounding out our starting top 30, is going to be Jacob Lenke and Stephen Heights.
31st, Jeremiah Holt with David Calvert in 32nd. 33rd, Brian Frawheiger and Logan Threlkeld in 34th. 35th, Dakota Cole and Charles Abert in 36th. 37th, Alan Smith and Alan Bergen in 38th. 39th, James Goshen and Tyler Merritt in 40th. 41st, Mark Whitley, Travis Beaver in 42nd. And 43rd is going to be George Jewell. So I'm not really sure. There are, there might be 43 since we have 43 pit stalls. So we said 40, but it looks like we're going to have 43 here tonight. Josh Unger, one of the first ones to not make it.
Yeah, the math doesn't math for 40 drivers, but I guess that may or may not have changed. Who knows? It's week 1 as we get set to get underway.
Let's take a look at the schedule. What do you say?
Yeah, schedule this season is going to be excellent. I mean, we open tonight at Talladega. Of course, then we go to Texas next week, and those mile and a halves are the bread and butter, and we stay on the mile and a half for Charlotte on September 8th. Then week 4, we go to Richmond, and of course, that's going to be one of our first short tracks of the season as we go back-to-back with short tracks with New Hampshire. One road course for the time being, and that's going to be Watkins Glen. I think that's my favorite road course, all things considered. As then we go to Dover, the Monster Mile, and then out to the West Coast into the desert for Las Vegas. We go to Iowa, Homestead in November, Lucas Oil, so IRP in November 10th. Then Old Atlanta on the 17th, Kansas, and then, of course, we're in our round of 6, and Milwaukee for December 8th. And then our Championship 4 will put it all on the line at Kentucky Speedway in mid-December. So it may be nice and warm here in Philadelphia, but by the time we call the checkered flag on this season, it's going to be a little bit frigid.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is such a lovely schedule. This car, some people love it, some people hate it, and I think this is a really solid schedule that really pushes this car to its limits. It's not all 1.5 milers. It's, you've got some short tracks, you've got some 1.5 milers, you've got some super speedways, but you got a lot of road courses, some sort of in-between tracks. Of course, Old Atlanta, which I think is great. Milwaukee, which would be interesting. And then having the the championship race at Kentucky is a huge curveball, considering we don't race at Kentucky. You wouldn't normally race that in real life. So really, really interesting schedule. I love it. I can't wait to see how this season plays out. Let's take a look at your race analysis here tonight. 40 laps as we get ready to go green. 55 miles an hour. 4 tire sets available. Don't think we'll be worried about that. 2 green-white checkered attempts. You have 1 fast repair, which I think will be important to note. And then you got 65% fuel with that iRacing fixed setup. About 20 to 23 laps on fuel there, Dave, with a 40-lap race. It seems like we could probably make it to halfway, but there might be a little bit of fuel saving.
Well, there's always that element of fuel saving, especially when you're in the draft. I mean, that lead car, they've got to keep their pedal down to the metal. But meanwhile, let's just say, for argument's sake, here at the front of the pack, that second and third car in line, they can afford to burp the throttle a little bit and save some fuel. So really what you're doing is using that lead car as a fuel pig, if you will. And we're going to see a lot of that tonight as the iRacing.com pace car brings the field out of turn 4 and gets himself aimed down toward the pit road entrance. Now it's all down to Dave Calvert and Ryzen Baker to bring us to the start-finish line. They pass the entrance to pit road, and as they come into the tri-oval, folks, you know how we do it. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag in the air, and off we go for season 4.
Yeah, now is the time. As you see, we've got a ton of drivers out there to get settled in, as there is a little bit of issues right now. You got some folks that probably want to go to the back, and you can kind of see how the track is spread now. We're 3 wide back here in the back as folks had to qualify, and they had to start what they qualified. So you got right here the 13, I think, of Patrick Fuller. He's trying to go to the back, and it's sort of causing sort of a stack up here as the 50 is just right on his back bumper, and they're just about wrecking. I don't understand what's going on. Patrick Fuller obviously going to the back in the 50. My goodness, just a complete disaster back here as we're still green, though. As you see Fuller now able to make his way to the back, but my goodness. Sketchy the start there.
Sketchy is an understatement for sure. And you know what? I'll say this, especially about the skill level of these drivers out here on the racetrack, whether they're pro or am. They just did that without causing an incident here on the racetrack. 3 and 4 wide while you're trying to shuffle that deck of cards is hard enough to do. But at Talladega, when now here on lap number 2, they're already cranked up to 188 going down the back chute into turn 3. That was incredible driving by all of these guys out here on the racetrack, as the 56 of Benjamin Richards going to be timed out here a little bit deeper in the field. Baker still our race leader as we come down here into the tri-oval. My goodness, he's going to have to get that bottom line organized. Now, the top line, that's going to be your feeder line at a place like Talladega. They're going to be able to get a lot of that momentum and a lot of that speed, but they won't be able to just overtake the race leader. What they're going to have to do is decide, do I bring my draft partner with me or not? As right now on the high side, we see the 24 leading his way through there. And they're fanned out behind him, trying to get organized. My God. The double natural of Ryzen Baker, your race leader. He's got Dave Calvert Sr. in tow. That's your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner. Chance Taylor running in third. Noah Hoagie Hogard being timed in fourth, with Chuck Pegleg Feltz rounding out the starting top five. They go double file from there, and these guys, watch the 11 of Matt Myers.
You'll have to forgive us a little bit. The numbers, it's the first race of the season. People have the wrong numbers, and you see the 24 up there, and you don't see a 24 on the list. That's Samuel Joseph joining in with the wrong car and the wrong card number, and that'll happen. So just give us a little break. Oh, my goodness, he almost makes contact coming down on Chuck Feltz right there. He is in the right number and in the right lane, and, boy, that was almost a disaster. So, but, yeah, those paint schemes and stuff, first race of the season. But I can't say enough about the field so far. 43 drivers, no caution yet. And you can see the front packs got almost 3 wide as guys are getting a little bit racy. And then we've got another pack sort of about 4 seconds back, led by Michael Jones back here in the 02 Mobil 1 machine. So 2 packs that are sort of put together now as everybody is just trying to get settled in. Now, one thing we do want to talk about is the Pro-Am. As you see, Samuel Joseph with a big push goes out front, but kind of want to talk real quick about that, and we'll show it on the screen. Is we've got a little split here between the Pro and the Am. So this will be a little confusing. We won't show this very much, but you can see who is leading the Amateur and who is leading the Pro no matter where they run on the track. So this is not overall. This is per the 2 divisions. So they're racing against each other, but everybody is on the track. One of my favorite things about this series. So you can see the split right now. Tyler Justice, who's running in that second position, he is leading the Pro drivers. And then you've got Myers there, Matt Myers, who has taken the lead. He is leading the Amateur drivers. And Myers is going to get to the wall. And there it is.
And it's pandemonium at the front of the pack. Cars everywhere. Oh, and it had to start from the lead. They were 3 wide behind Ryzen Baker and now Tyler Justice in the 33, as it is just absolute pandemonium. Drivers hitting that tow button to get off the racetrack as fast as possible to limit all of the damage that they just incurred. But, my gosh, let's take a look at the replay now. They were 3 wide. And watch, I think the 11 and the... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I think we were sitting there talking about it, and you could see it right there, the 11. Just a late block as Samuel was trying to go to the outside. And, for lap 5, that is, it's a little bit not the kind of block you want to see. And you can see, again, we'll watch it maybe from a different angle. But it was pretty clear there that, Samuel has very much committed to that middle line, and the 11 comes up and right in front of the field. Massive wreck. You can see all these drivers involved, so many. You can't even, you can't even talk about them all. There's so many guys going through the grass. The 173 there, Douglas Macedo coming in at the last second. So big one early, Dave.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. The 11 throwing that block, 5 laps in, maybe the spotter said he was clear, and I'm sure that if we went down to pit road and interviewed him, he would say, the spotter said I was clear. He clearly was not. But that's going to trigger some early pit stops here as Baker, Justice, Cofield, Gregory, Jeremiah Holt, and Jake Ham, along with Graham Connolly, are going to come down. This may be a little bit of a fuel-only splash and go. Obviously, tires not even up to full temperature with just 6 laps in the books. And the 77 gets cockeyed coming into the pit box here. Oh, that's going to cost him, as it was just a splash and go and off of pit road. All of a sudden, business is picked up for pit crews that were ready to settle in and
you can see a lot of damage.
Turn lap.
Yeah, it's interesting.
There's a lot of damage.
You got a lot of folks coming in for fuel. Yeah, a lot of folks for fuel only, but then a lot of folks coming in getting their fast repair. You can see Noah Hogard coming in there in that blue car just pulled into pit road. That front bumper gets locked on, brand new one. As a lot of damage out there. Some drivers able to drive back to pit road. Some guys taking 4 tires, just trying to go to the back. All kinds of strategies here, but a lot of fuel only for the ones that come down pit road. Now, Samuel Joseph stays out. Even though he was involved in that wreck, he's going to elect to stay out. So not thinking that the damage is too bad. Although that we've got a good angle on his car, I think the 25 here has got a solid amount of damage here, Dave.
Yeah, I don't want to tell him what to do, but I think that's called an air-cooled engine right now.
Is that naturally aspirated?
Naturally aspirated, yes. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to come down pit road or consider getting run over by the rest of the field. You know, that's one thing, you know, in a race like this, a little nudge, a little bump here can be enough to decide, hey, listen, you know, I've got to come down pit road and burn a fast repair late in the race. But early on to have to use that fast repair up, I mean, good Lord, this could be dangerous. And it's going to cause a lot of drivers to have to drive with a different mentality now going deeper into the race itself. Because now you don't have that fast repair, so you can't take chances, make mistakes, and get messy.
Yeah. And right now, the guys who have taken, you see Samuel is coming down pit road. I think that's a smart move. That arrow would be terrible on that car. So he does the right thing, comes down pit road, going to get that fast repair. But so far, those who've taken fast repair, Jeremiah Holt, Dave Calvert Sr., Noah Hogard, we saw him take his, Joseph McWhorter. I think we'll see him up front quite a bit this season. Andy Kurtz, Douglas Macedo, William Gregory, Patrick Fuller, all fast repairs along with Matt Myers, where all that started. And I'll tell you what, Samuel has gone down pit road, but did not take his fast repair, and he's got a black flag, so he may not know where his pit box is, as he is now going to get back in there, but he has a black flag maybe for speeding. So what was looking pretty promising there for Samuel has now all kind of fallen down, gone downhill.
Yeah, he's going to get 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast while he's here in the neighborhood, but that not knowing where to go, I guess maybe the GPS in the car got a little crunkled up there during the wreck. Could have been. It told him the wrong place to go. I'll blame it on Google. That's fine. As Chance Taylor going to be our new race leader when we go back green, the iRacing.com pace car lights are out, which means we'll be going back green flag racing in just a few moments. It's going to be Chance Taylor, Barrett Morton, Chuck Pegleg Feltz, Timothy Peters, Jacob Lanke, Brock Price, Conrad Whedon, Mikal Jones, David Calvert, and Dakota Cole, your restarting top 10.
Well, for those who don't know, and we kind of hit on it, we'll continue to hit on it as we've got probably some new viewers, and we've got a lot of you in chat. We're so glad to have everybody watching here tonight. But it's split into 2 classes. We got a pro division and an amateur division, all on the same track together, but they are racing within their class. So right now, Chuck Feltz, while not out front, he's sitting in 3rd overall. He is the leader of the amateur. So if he crosses the finish line ahead of all the other amateurs, he is declared the winner for this race. So in these races, we have 2 winners each and every week, which is just phenomenal. And then we get down to the end, we have 8 drivers fighting for 2 championships. It's just the most exciting racing that we have here at Goat Locker. And so going to be exciting tonight to see who crosses the line first overall, but also who takes either the pro and the am race wins.
New Bern, North Carolina's Chance Taylor on the inside here against the double yellow line. It's out of bounds during green flag racing, but right now that's a way marker as we come back into the tri-oval. All of a sudden we see the 75 of Chuck Feltz tighten things up. The green flag flies and off we go again right here on lap number 8. And as we cross the line and get back up to speed, everybody trying to find some real estate here on the racetrack, at least for the time being. I'm taking a look here. Benjamin Richards, he's got to be just about the most comfortable driver at this point in the race because he's got nobody in front of him, nobody behind him. Let's wait to see where everybody goes and he can get himself in a line. And the Brownstown, Michigan native now sliding up and out of the way of the 73 of Jeremiah Holt as the 73 and the 74 have decided to form a 2-car tandem. Here on lap number 9, Chance Taylor, our race leader, followed by Chuck Feltz and Barrett Morton. They go side by side. Morton out of Louisville, Kentucky holds the high line with the 18 pushing him from behind, and the 0-2 of McCall Jones anchoring that top 3 here on the high side. The 114, that's Travis Bieber. He steps out of line. They go 3 wide, and that forces the 77 in the meat of this 3-wide sandwich right here on lap number 10.
Oh, the 31 of Dakota Cole gets a little loose there. That was weird. Maybe a little bit what you were talking about earlier with that hot track, but we almost got 3 distinct packs at the moment. You nailed it on the initial start. Everybody sort of taking it easy, doing the right thing, and I think after that wreck early, a few fast repair used, I think that's going to calm everybody down, and we said that, but the wreck happened up front, so I don't know if we're going to calm down at all. Timothy Peters there in that number 19, of course, it shows 18 on the track. He is going to take the lead, and Whoa. You said it. The safest place right now, you would think, is out front, but the last caution happened up front. So I don't know where it's safe, Dave. Maybe in pit road.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what you know where it's safest, right here in the broadcast. That's for sure. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in here on YouTube.com, right here on VSpeed. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on those notifications so you can be told every time we go live right here on VSpeed. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of your night, as it looks like Travis Bieber has now dropped back to 13th after he was fighting for a top 10 spot just a moment ago. The 74 of Mark Whitley thought that he was a shark in shallow water as he was cutting up through the field. He peeks to the inside of the 0-2. Whitley wants to get out of the way and gives a good shove to McCall Jones, as now all of a sudden the 77 and the 74 have gotten together, and Baker and Whitley are ready to show everybody who's boss as they try to warm things up here. Barrett Morton, your race leader out of Louisville, Kentucky, he didn't have to use the slugger to get up here. He just took his time and now holds things together here on lap number 12. One of the things that I've noticed with a lot of these guys is once you get, that cream starts to rise to the top, and I'm not trying to take away from some of these AM drivers, but these pro drivers, this is where you need to be, watching what they're doing and taking notes. That's how you're going to get that promotion from the amateur rank to the pro rank, is if you could quick pull that one up. Oh, the 0-2 dives to the inside around the 9 of Barrett Morton. And now the 0-2 of McCall Jones wants a piece of the lead. He's going to have to get a bump now from Timothy Peters, as Peters is going to shove him along, but the high side all of a sudden has all kinds of momentum and speed.
Yeah, Michael Jones there on the bottom line, and oh my goodness, a little bit a nice move by Conrad Whedon to jump down in front of him, almost cut his nose off. A very close call, but yeah, they're getting racy at this point of the track. And of course, I do want to mention that the banners on the car sort of highlight who is in what division. Your blue banners, you see it right there at the top of the windshield. Those are your pro drivers. You see Mark Whitley now go for the lead, and then the red ones are your amateurs. So that's how you can sort of tell on track. But yeah, these guys, you could see the runs that these guys are able to get. I mean, massive runs, just depending on where you're going to go with it. But as soon as you pull out, it's like a parachute just takes you. So you have to time those runs just right, and you have to have a little bit of help. And you can see these guys are just practicing. When you get down to the end of the race, you better know how this works before you get to that final lap, because somebody who's been doing this right here, pushing, getting out front, using the side draft, using that suck as you get to the left rear, right rear quarter panel, and kind of pull that car back with that big spoiler on the back. All that is data that you are learning. Yeah, you were just going in circles. Yeah, nothing's really happening. There's no stages. But right now, it's all learning. It's figuring out what works, what doesn't work. A bump right there from Travis Bieber. That didn't work. And oh, my goodness, they're going down to the apron. And did a great job. Yeah.
That's what's going to separate your pro drivers from your AM drivers, and some of these guys that are maybe a little bit less experienced on the racetrack. Mark Whitley gets shoved down here onto the apron, and during the turn at speed manages to pull back in front of Ryzen Baker without wrecking the field. That's something that takes a lot of practice and a lot of skill. And obviously his talent did not run out, as now he's bump drafting the 9 after nearly getting beaten to death on the apron.
Oh! Morton through the grass. He's coming back up the track. Oh, they're trying to avoid him, and they do know they're wrecking.
They do.
Chance Taylor in the wall. Oh, and he hangs on to it there, Dave.
But we stay green. And again, this is what I think makes Goat Locker such an incredible league overall. I mean, these drivers are out here. Look at the skill that takes. I mean, this is all happening at 182, 185 virtual miles per hour. And they managed to hold it together. You can't do that, in the real world. As we go back here to the replay and look out through the windshield, Chance Taylor probably angrier than a hornet right now. As we see what happened with him, he gets shoved up into the wall after the 9 gets pushed down to the apron, and he managed to hold it together. I'll tell you what, we'll take him in Philadelphia. We could use a second closer in case Johan Duran doesn't do too well in the postseason. My goodness.
Yeah, that was amazing job, like you said. I mean, it's such a bummer for Chance Taylor, who's running up front, and that kind of caused now a breakaway. And you could see immediately Whitley, Bieber, Linke, Baker, Cole, and Timothy Peters immediately get in single file. And you go, well, why? Why would they immediately do that? Well, now they have an advantage. At this track, it's a numbers game, baby. At the end of the race, you have got to be up at the front. Well, if I have to fight 40 other drivers, that's a very low percentage that I'm going to come away with the victory. But if I break it down to just 7 drivers, or in this case 6, then I've got a great chance of winning this race. So they immediately get together, get in a single file, and they are now 3.7 seconds ahead of this little group here that's led by Joseph McWhorter, which they're already single file, and they have been for a while trying to run these guys down. And then you have to go back another few seconds to Barrett Morton, where that all started. He's got his teammate behind him, Mark Cofield, and you can see Cofield all over the back bumper, and then it kind of goes on the way back from there as one distinct pack. As you see, they're all kind of spread out now. So now it's an interesting race here. We've got sort of a spread of drivers here, and that's going to make things interesting unless we get a caution.
Well, and you know what? After what I just watched, I'm betting that these drivers are going to do their very best to keep that yellow flag in the holster up there in the flag stand. And to me, that was it left me speechless. Thank goodness you were yammering, because I couldn't find the words to put together for that. That was just amazing. We, of course, want to thank our friends at InVets, founded by veterans and for veterans, and they aid in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. And they, of course, also sponsor our truck series on a Sunday. As we work here on lap number 18, approaching the halfway point, I'll tell you what, man, I wasn't expecting to see some of these drivers, fighting the way that they are approaching halfway. But Eddie, listen, I can't believe where we're at right now. 1 caution, 18 laps. Look at Jacob Lanke. He's going to be our top running AM driver. He leads Jeremiah Cole right there. And then, of course, Mark Whitley and Travis Bieber leading the pro drivers. But Lanke, he's got a shot here. And I've said this a long time about restrictor plate tracks. The Toledo, Ohio native has a chance here as we take a peek into the racing room. Uh-oh. Well, that's not going to make him happy.
Yeah, you could see disappointment as that caution flag came out almost immediately. He was like, oh, no, that's not what I wanted to see. Because you're right. He was up there in a great spot. He doesn't have to win the overall race. He just has to finish where he was in 3rd place. And he was going to win the race, although we're not even halfway. We're just going to cross over now. But looks like Mark Cofield had some sort of issue as these packs sort of came together here. It looks like the 20 is going to pull down right in front of Barrett Morton and just clean out the field.
Yeah, I guess he decided that the table was a little messy and he wanted to get everybody out of the way.
Good Lord. I don't know who the 20 – oh, Conrad Whedon, I believe,
Yeah, it looked like Whedon that he took out there. As this, of course, happens right at the halfway point. That's going to be huge for strategy going deeper into the race. Of course, now you can top off and be pretty much set for the next 20 laps.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the replay here. You see the 20 there on the outside, and this is a group of drivers sort of coming together, and you can see that lap car on the outside, and the 20 looks like he's clear, but just kind of lazily comes down, and when he does, Barrett Morton just says, no, sir, I'm here. And, man, it's always such a bummer because, Barrett could absolutely have lifted there, but I can't blame him. The 20 just comes down, and that's where it all kind of went wrong. So that's what brought out this second caution. But you can see the 97's the one's going to get the worst of it. He's pushing his teammate. He's got the 85 behind him of Timothy, or I don't know who the 85 is, actually. We got too many drivers here on the list. I'm not sure, but you can see the 20 comes right up and just clobbers. Chuck Felt's involved in that one. Charles Abert involved. Alan Smith, barely gets through as the 97 comes to a rest. So,
and the 114 and the 74 tangled on pit road as now Travis Bieber is facing backwards and driving back to the beginning of pit road. If you can go, there he is. Right there. I don't know what in the world. You can't park there. I don't want to tell you what to do, but you can't park there.
Let's go and check it out. See what happened here. As he's coming down to pit road, 74 in front of him. I wonder if he just locks up the brakes trying to get in. That's exactly what he does.
There it is. That front left. You can't pirouette like that. This isn't ballet class.
Yeah, well, it's very intimate with Mark Whitley there. And then gets intimate with the 36 of George Jewell. I don't know. I don't know, touching tips of the front of the car, I think is what this is called. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Travis is doing, but he's just trying to make sure everybody gets by, I would imagine, because on the inside where he's at, the cars will actually become invisible. That's why he could drive through others. But when the cars are out there on that outside line coming down pit road, you can make contact. So if he turns up around and gets back, going and hits another car, that would be even more embarrassing. So just locked up the rears and took him a while to get back down. Here he is coming off pit road. He was able to get his service and get back rolling.
Yeah, you never want to get caught touching tips on pit road at
nope, you don't.
Talladega. That's for
touching
sure.
Tips at Talladega, alliteration, baby.
Yes, sir. Mark Whitley going to be our race leader when we go back green flag racing. The 85 going to be your lucky dog and get the run around. As Kyle Deering, Jeremiah Holt, Joseph McWhorter, and that's a name I wanted. That's going to be your top 5 restarting here. But Joseph McWhorter, folks, if you're just joining us for the first time, first of all, look at all these drivers up here, all 11 of them with the cams on. And
yeah.
I'm telling you right now, he might have a peg leg, but I'm not messing with Chuck Feltz. I feel like
I'm not going to mess with the guy. Look, I'm not going to mess with the guy that's got a Santa hat and a Bucky shirt on. I'm not messing with him either. So there's a lot of these guys I'm not messing with. We know some of these drivers. That's Logan Threlkeld, of course, is Santa. Tyler Justice, first time I'm seeing him on cam, he's got his guns out too. He's a Marine as well. So it must be something about being a Marine that your arms have to be out, arms and shoulders, just all of it. As he looks at the camera, a little bit of smile.
Are definitely out.
Yeah. You got TJ Peters there in the dark as normal. Jacob Linke there on the top side. Chuck Feltz, George Jewell, and Charles Abert. James Goshen looks like he's got his PC problems fixed. You got Alan Smith there. Got a window view from his camera. And you got Alan Regan just completely blacked out. Can't see anything out of his camera. And then you got Sam. I know I'm going to butcher this name, but Yosef there on the bottom right. Just so thankful to have these guys put their cams, show us that inside view, kind of get to see that emotion, Dave, when things go right, when things go wrong. You see the fist pumps at the end of the race, and you see the sometimes throwing of the headphones and damaging other sim equipment when things go wrong. So really cool to see these inside views of these drivers. Just awesome, and appreciate those guys. As Alan Regan turns it on now.
Alan Bergen, listen, I'll have to shoot him a text. I'll have to shoot him a text, but believe me, his wife believes that he looks better with the lights off too. Don't worry, it's fine. Jeremiah Holt going to be restarting on the inside here. As it's going to be Holt and Whitley on the front row as we get.
There's some issues
this time by.
Yeah, some issues with lineups at the moment. We've already extended it another time. Just issues getting everybody put back in order. So, going to take another lap or so to get it back rolling. But yeah.
And you know what? The thing is, in a league like this, to have those guys over in the race control booth is an absolute blessing in and of itself. I mean, Dan Craighkill has been, one of our series directors alongside Jake Ellingson, at least for the last 2 seasons that I've been around for, and Rob Kubat sitting in the race control tower. And I mean, to have Dan and Jake over there calling the shots and Rob Kubat keeping an eye on everything, hey, you're going to get it right. It's better than letting iRacing try to make those decisions for you, and it's certainly better than somebody who's in the car trying to reorganize things, with hotkeys and quick buttons.
Well,
this is doing it the right way, and that's what happens at Goat Locker Racing. We want to thank them, of course, for bringing all of this together. Make sure that you do head over to goatlockerracing.org/donate. And as a contributor to Goat Locker Racing, we make sure that your donation goes directly to supporting our cause of helping military veterans and first responders. And we thank you for your generosity. And folks, I'm here to tell you that when you make those donations, they do go toward, sim rigs and things like that for these racers, for these veterans and first responders. And it's not like when you give $1 to the Red Cross and 80 cents of that goes to, administration and paperwork. All of that is going right to these racers, right to these veterans and first responders. And of course, we want to salute Goat Locker and Patrick, of course, for organizing all of this. It's just, it's an incredible group of people, and they are an addicting group of people to want to hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, 100% goes to serving veterans, and it's just unbelievable the amount of work that goes into serving vets. Everybody gets all, when the races don't go your way, you get all mad, but I'm telling you, here it's all about veterans, first responders, just warriors. It's one lap at a time is the thing. It's one veteran, one warrior, one lap at a time. And I tell you, here none of this can be done, to your point, without these volunteers that come out. Daniel Kakeel has done an exceptional job keeping everything in order, keeping up info. We got spreadsheets on spreadsheets of everybody's information. He keeps a huge amount of information for everybody, and incredible job. He's a first responder. He does EMT work, and we love those type of guys. So many people volunteering to put in. Jacob Ellingson puts in so much work. Everybody puts in so much time and effort to make these things go around, and it just, without the partners, without all those volunteers, it just couldn't happen the way that it does. And I'm gonna tell you what, without Patrick Dravick, without Jamie Barkus, it couldn't happen either. They are definitely the head of the snake, and man, we're about to get ready to go green here. Lap 23 of 40 here in the Glove Station ARCA Series, Dave. Now we're all bunched back up. What do you think is going to happen?
It's going to look like an accordion, so you better get out those polka shoes and get ready to rock and roll. We're going to see this thing expand and contract like crazy as Jeremiah Holt takes the green flag. Barney waves it, and we're back underway right here on lap number 23, past the halfway point. So it's all downhill from here, folks, at Talladega Super Speedway. Of course, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Dave Regal and, of course, the great Eddie Smith alongside of me here in the broadcast booth. We want to thank all of you for making us a part of your evening, for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, as drivers are side by side flying down the back chute. Here we are, look, everybody almost looking for that single file line, trying to tighten themselves, and then they change their mind.
Single file my ass. It's double file. These guys are pushing. Look here, Dave. We are almost 15 laps to go in this thing. Yeah, all that hanging around, taking it easy, dropping to the back, we're done with that. At that point, if you are going to do that, you're going to be at the back. You better, at this moment right now, better be working your way towards the front. You can see that front pack, a lot more drivers in it than there was before. These pushes are going to get a little bit more wild, and everything's going to get a little bit tighter, and moves are going to get wilder. It's only going to get better from here. So y'all better strap in if you're at home. Put your seatbelts on. Put your drink down. It's too late. Get your eyeballs on the screen. It's about to be some amazing racing here to the finish.
I want to go on board here with the 50 of Kyle Deering. He's currently running here in 7th position and in heavy traffic. The New Bern, North Carolina driver, as we look out the windshield here on board. This is rush hour traffic in Lincoln, Alabama. It only happens twice a year, but good Lord, he's got to be able to watch the driver in front of him. Now, currently, that's the 77 of Ryzen Baker. Baker here giving a bump to the 73. You can't see that from this angle, but he's basically watching Baker wobble in the wind, looking for that door to open. He knows that he can't go to the high side, and without a spotter above, you're basically flying. Oh, the 72 of Joseph McWhorter gets loose, and now he's going to be shuffled back through the field, and he is falling like a rock.
What a save!
Oh, goodness gracious. Watch
on
this
board
here
with him here.
Replay. And he is about to have some busy hands as he gives a wobble and gets up against that safer barrier coming out of the turn. My goodness.
Well, what a
He deserves
save.
an award just for that.
Yeah, and that's that part of what I was talking about earlier. That's that playing around. That's that learning. He was learning with him and Mark Whitley, their teammates, working, seeing what works. How far can we push? And you can see the car a little unstable here tonight, not able to push like they want to, and got real loose as the car unloaded down into the corner. And boy, what a save by that 72 car. But now he is way back in 15th. And you see he's trying to go back to the middle. You know that frustration, Dave. When you have a mistake like that, you drop all the way to the back. You're trying to get back up there as soon as possible. He has no help there in the middle.
No, I just watched Dakota Cole shut the door on him and shut it hard. It was like a teenage girl being mad at her dad. He said, no, you're not coming up here. And he shoved back the 72 even further, who's now in 17th position. They're double file. And, out of nowhere, guys were trying to get down to that bottom line, and they fanned themselves back out to go 2 by 2 and nearly 3, as I just saw the 085 of James Goshen sliding up here. I thought they were going to go 3 wide. They chose not to. The 35 of David Calvert out of Clover, South Carolina, holding the low line just underneath behind the 9 of Barrett Morton. They go side by side, 2 by 2, as if they're getting a Noah's Ark, and they are 2 by 2 through almost 18. Yeah, it's 18. That's 9 rows of double. Whoa! Wow, the 89 getting out of Dodge fast. That's Alan Bergen out of House Springs, Missouri. There is a little bit of an accordion action right in front of him. He manages to get away. And now all of a sudden there's 17 here in this lead pack. Side by side they go. Here on lap number 28, just about 12 to go.
Yeah, McWhorter trying to figure out a way to get back up to the front. He's doing the best that he can. He's got some help behind him on the outside, but it is now 4 wide here as he's going around Noah Hogard, and Hogart's backs out of it. I think that is a great move, but then he sticks his nose back in there. The 0-2 almost makes contact. Michael Jones now going to the back as they almost have a disaster there as those two slower on the backstretch. But that's that McWhorter trying to get to the front. And, hey, you guys are in my way. I got to go. But what we've seen so far, Dave, is these big runs that this car can generate. And we've seen it a couple times where guys are lifting caution now out on the track. And it looks like Samuel Yosef, that 24 car, again, front bumper, he's missing it. He's gone.
Yeah, I guess he wanted to wreck the warranty part on that, too. The clip is gone. And even looking here, he is scratching his head trying to figure out where he put that darn nose clip.
Back on the replay and see what happened.
Replay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a finger-licking bad move from the KFC machine in the 00.
Well, let's go back and watch before we make a snap judgment. That's my dad there, so we're going to make sure it's actually my dad's fault before you call it my dad's fault. And we'll see if Yosef was actually clear. And, yeah, I mean, they kind of come together. Yosef's not clear. He's coming down, trying to cover that bottom line out. And you can see the 00 sort of drifts up just a little bit. Go on board here.
On race review, that's going to be deemed as a racing deal.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not gonna sit here and call my dad out while I'm in the booth, buddy. I'm gonna defend him. That's your defending amateur champion right there, bud.
He really, you know what? That's the crazy thing. The end of last season. Why don't you take us through the end of last season? Because I've never been able to call a father-son duo like we had there at Championship Week.
It was unbelievable. I think neither one of us really felt confident. I felt really good until the change of the car. And then, Mark Whitley comes in. He probably was the deserving pro, just started late. And, it was just, I just didn't know it was possible. We both got into the Final Four race. And, of course, we were in Discord together. And, really it was at Texas. So we're just trying to make sure that, one of us won and just trying to stay ahead of the guys we were racing. And there it came down to the end. Old Dad got out front of a couple guys, ran another guy down that he was racing for a championship, passed him late, and it was, I'm out there leading my championship, and me and Jonah Colbert, who raced last season, not here this season, but we were in there. I was like, tell me where he's at. Where is he? Where is my dad? Let me know if he's going to win. And when I crossed the line, all I cared was, is he going to get it? And I'll tell you what, he he got it done, was a champion, and we got the trophies to prove it. So just unbelievable. It was one of the greatest moments in my sim racing life for sure, to be able to share a championship. And that's where this pro amateur division is so cool, Dave, is that, we've got some really fast guys, and we love having fast guys, but we've got guys who, hey, they're not going to go out there and be 5,000 I rating. And so to have them have the ability to go out there and race for race wins and a championship, and two people be able to share that night, and it be father and son, man, it was unbelievable. So it'll be a night I never forget, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not often that I can remember an individual championship. I mean, you and I know from this business where, you're covering so many different leagues and groups of people, but when I get to call the father and son duo, I mean, that was so cool. Just to sit in this chair here and be able to watch that was incredible at the end of last season. And you know what, man? I hope that he has the same luck this season. Of course, you're going to hang out up here in the broadcast booth tonight, but, you've got to get back down there on the asphalt at some point. As we're here on lap number 31, 10 to go, it's going to be Ryzen Baker, Timothy Peters, Mark Whitley, Jeremiah Holt, Kyle Deering, Benjamin Richards, George Jewell, Barrett Morton, David Calvert, and Tyler Merritt. That's your top 10. And the crazy thing is, in a place like this at Talladega, you can be in the top 10 and still finish in 30th before all is said and done. And the driver in 22nd, Charles Aber, could wind up winning.
Yeah, I mean, the overall win is obviously a huge deal. But, with the Pro-Am split, how does that affect these drivers and how they decide to race? And you can see right now Kyle Deering running in the 5th spot, but he's leading the amateur division. He's got Benjamin Richards right behind him, and then David Calvert, who's 3rd in the amateur. He's way back in the overall in 10th. So, these guys are all racing each other. And so it's interesting, how does that affect how these guys race, especially the amateur guys? They don't have to win the overall race. Neither does the pro. So does that change as you get down to 8 laps to go? Does that change who you help? Do you latch on to an amateur driver and push him to the win, knowing that you're going to get the win as well? I think it's just so cool. It's such a cool, and I don't know how these drivers are going to deal with it, Dave. I'm curious what your thoughts. What would you do if you knew, hey, now look, I don't have to win the race. I just have to be the top of my class.
No, listen, I'm all about just finishing in first. Let's get up there and let's get her done. Here's the thing, and we saw it so many times last season where, we nearly had an AM driver get the natural win. And if I'm one of these AM drivers, I want to show my tailpipe to everybody and say, this is my race to win. I don't want to settle for just that AM win. I want that checkered flag dropped in my window. And, right now, the way that things are looking, that could be a very real possibility for drivers like Kyle Deering here in his Ford Mustang as we get ready to turn him back loose here with what will be 8 laps to go when the iRacing.com pace car brings us back here as drivers 2x2 file on past. Just some really great camera angles tonight, and I cannot be more appreciative for some of these ones that you've been able to show our fans at home. Dougie Beard kicking butt with the camera angles. Look at this thing right here.
Yeah, really excited to get that partnership on V-Speed. Dougie Beard, camera maker for Race Spot, GSRC, other iRacing, really popular broadcast company shows, and so excited to have him a part of the team, bringing us these amazing angles. But we're getting ready to go green. 8 laps to go. Ryzen Baker gets on the gas. He's going to pull a little gap here. That's usually dangerous here at Talladega, but I think he's just so nervous. He's ready to go and get out there and get back, try to get to that checkered flag.
Yeah, a gap like that. We're about to watch Mark Whitley get a nice little nope, there's nobody back there. The 73 and the 18 now. They're going to get a good run here. The 56 going to have to suck right up to the rear of the 74. The 74 now bump drafting Baker down the backstretch. Whitley and Baker working the low line. All of a sudden, this has come together rapid as now the 35, oh, wow, gets in there. David Calvert in the Bojangles machine. I feel like, maybe your dad there in the KFC car, maybe they need to just have a duel to the death here with Bojangles and KFC. Uh-oh, caution late here. And we're just outside what would be,
Tyler Justice in the 33.
Tyler Justice in the 33.
Yeah, going through the grass. Here late. I mean, you kind of expect this as we get down to the end of this thing. You're expecting. Let's go back and see on the replay what happened. Oh, he's up there almost 3 wide, and yeah, the 03. Go back and see who that is. A lot of new folks. That's Brian Froheiger in the 03 Ninja Turtles car. Just kind of got out of shape there. And if you don't know, Brian is one of the more recent Sim Rig recipients, and he has been getting better and better as the weeks go. This one just one of those moments where you kind of get wrapped up a little bit here. You can see he's trying to go to the outside. He's going to get into the wall, then comes back down. You know, Tyler's expecting him to sort of bail out there, and unfortunately, he comes back down and makes contact, and you see the 33 of Justice and the 30 of Logan Threlkeld involved. So, sort of a bummer to see that happen. We'll see if Tyler Justice can get back to pit road and get that fast repair. He still does have that fast repair, but, man, the intensity, Dave, is only going to ramp up. And I tell you what, one thing I do want to shout out is we haven't really talked about them, but this is the Lincoln Tech Fall Series. And this is the Glove Station ARCA Series, but the Lincoln Tech is sponsoring all 7 races of this Fall Series. And I'll tell you what, Lincoln Tech got a car show coming up in October 3rd. If you're in that area in Indiana, go out and hang out with them. They're going to be giving out a sim rig to Alexander Sexhauer. Hopefully the weather holds out. They've had to reschedule it once, but Lincoln Tech, a huge partner of Goat Locker, sponsor of this entire fall series. And their mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, and they're the title sponsor of the Fall Series, and definitely one of the larger partners of Goat Locker. Cannot thank Lincoln Tech enough.
They certainly are, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention, when you had Tyler Justice on the cam just a moment ago, I saw those hand coverings he got, and I'm 99% sure those are from our friends at Glove Station. And at Glove Station, we are committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. And from tinkering on home DIYs to industrial environments and everything in between, we've got you covered with endless amounts of safety products on the market. We want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. And of course, as I had mentioned, I just happened to see those. And of course, I've been on their website bunches of times looking at, getting my guys outfitted at work. And I just happened to see that. I'm fairly certain those are from our friends at Glove Station. And of course, we want to thank all of our sponsors and all of you for tuning in with myself, Dave Regal, alongside of Eddie Smith. And we want to thank everybody for checking in here on the chat. Pat Drabick saying, well, of course, we try our best. Shasta Jewell checking in. Jacob Ellingson, he's doing the same. Cole Sisk cheering on the 12 and the 16. Santa says he's having fun.
That's the most sarcastic having fun I've ever read. You can't really read sarcasm on, but he was involved in that last incident. So I could just, it's just the sarcasm just coming through the screen as I read that chat. So, but I mean, look at this list right here. I mean, the Pro and Am divisions are, wide open. So many folks have the opportunity to win here. Benjamin Richards leading the amateur. Rosin Baker leading the pro at the moment, but so much can happen here. But what we saw there early on this run, now that the laps are going away, it takes a few laps for everybody to kind of get together. But the problem is, if you're back here in the back, and we still have 42 drivers still running in this race. Douglas Macedo's 9 laps down, Matt Myers a couple laps down, and a few other that are down a lap, but still 42 drivers. Chance Taylor, the only one that has DNF so far. If you're back there in the back, you're just trying to get the best finish you can, maybe try to avoid the big one, those type of things. But, if you're not up here at the front, you're going to have a tough time. So if you're Joseph McWhorter, you're those guys trying to get back to the front, you're going to have to make some wild moves, and you're going to have a whole lot of help. But I would say, just like in real NASCAR, if you're not in the top 5 right now, you're probably not getting to the checker flag first.
This is going to be a dogfight to the very end for those guys who are Air Force veterans. As the iRacing.com pace car lights are out, that means we'll be going green flag racing this time by Baker, Whitley, Peters, Richards. Now, Richards, he's going to be your top running AM driver. We saw that just a moment ago on the left side of your screen. And this is going to be a little bit dicey, especially now with the 50 on the high side. That's Deering. So there's a couple of AM drivers on the high side that can really make things difficult for guys like the 77 of Ryzen Baker, the 18 of Timothy Peters, or the 73 of Jeremiah Holt. I mean, they can really mount a charge here and make life difficult for those guys on the low line, especially if they can start to shovel off some of this mess. I mean, I've watched this draft work really well, but all it takes is one breath of bad air, and it can really upset the apple cart.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
As the iRacing.com pace car brings us back here into the tri-oval, it peels on down below the yellow line. And as we get ready to go back, green flag racing, Ryzen Baker with control of the field, passing the Yellowwood logo. We come into the restart zone right about now, and he's going to be able to drop the loud pedal, and off we go, now with 5 left to go.
Yeah, another jump for Ryzen Baker. He gets about a car length away, and Mark Whitley jumps down in there and then decides against it. He seems like he can't decide what he wants to do. He wants to lead that outside line. He doesn't want to give up the lead of the line. You can see he gets to the back bumper of Baker, gives him a shove, but I guarantee you Mark Whitley is going to shove him out there as the 35 is up into the wall, and caution is out as David Calvert. Big wreck.
They just cleared themselves. Oh, wow. The battle of the chickens that really does happen back here on the backstretch. Alan Smith and David Calvert. I guess nobody's really looking for their Bojangles jelly with the toast.
Yeah, that don't look good right there.
Biscuit.
I'm going to be honest.
My goodness, that's kind of cool. But that's going to really change things now, because that's going to be able to trigger that green-white checker event that we'll have here. Now, folks, what that means at home, if you haven't been around the NASCAR community for long, is when we go back green flag. Oh, wow.
I mean, that's not going past tech, I don't think.
No, I've never seen a car crab walk like that.
That's unbelievable.
I think International Harvester makes a telescope that does that.
Let's go back and see on the replay what happened. We'll have to back up just a little bit as we were watching the crab walking here, but you can see, I think that's McWhorter back behind him pushing the 72. And he is really trying to get up to the front here, the 72 all over the back bumper of the 35, and coming off the corners where it gets, and that's where the car unloads, and just right there you can see exactly what happened. Boom! Big hit for the 7 of Abert, the double aught of Alan Smith, and the 90 comes in, just a little love tap at the end. But that's exactly what it was, off the front bumper of the 72. See if we can't get a little bit better view of that.
And I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be here. You know, the 72, don't get me wrong, we all know that McWhorter's great. We've seen him, you know, all around this league for the last 2 seasons now, and including the summer, as, Joseph McWhorter just cleared him right off his nose like a booger. My goodness.
Well, I don't blame McWhorter.
No,
I mean, he is trying to go to the front. He got shoved out of the way almost the exact same way, and it's down to the end, you know, and I feel like he's got to go, and that's just the most awkward part of this. When you get to someone's back bumper and you're just slightly to the right, the car unloads off the corner, and Calvert just loses it. So it's hard to blame McWhorter for that. It's just circumstance of trying to get it going, and unfortunately Calvert's going to be the one that gets the worst end of it, and of course everybody involved.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, here's the thing. McWhorter knows that he's faster than a lot of these drivers. I mean, he had win after win during the summer series. I mean, good Lord, just absolutely dominated. So he's ready to just continue with that momentum, and I get it. But, you know, clearing him off your nose like that, you know, especially this late in the race, now we get that green flag, that green-white checker situation I was just getting ready to mention earlier, as we see that Richards is going to lead our AM drivers with Deering, Cofield, and Alan Bergen running in 4th. That's a surprise and a half. My goodness. Alan Bergen running in 4th in his very first race in the ARCA series here in the Goat Locker family of racing series. But this green-white checker now, folks, if you haven't been around the NASCAR world for long, that means that when the green flag flies, we're going to race around back to the white flag. If a caution should come out between the waving of the green flag and the white flag, we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. However, if the white flag flies, we will race on back to checkers, and the next flag will win, whether that flag is checkered or yellow. So everybody's going to be holding their collective breath at least through that first lap to make sure that they can get through that safely so that we don't have to end this piece under caution.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like the most anticlimactic thing in all of sports when a race has to end on a checkered flag.
Yeah. And of course,
I'm sorry, yellow flag.
Yeah, and I think the green, white, checkers definitely offer that entertainment value, and I think that's what we're going to get. Now, for the drivers, it's stressful. For Ryzen Baker, he would be glad to end this under caution. He'd be like, you know what? I agree. It needs to end under caution. It's not safe. But here and in the real world, there's a good argument for that. Crashing more cars, 2 green, white, 3 green, white, checkered attempts might be a little bit dangerous. But here in the virtual world, nobody's getting hurt. These cars don't cost a dime to fix. So we like it in the booth. We want to see that green, white, checkers. We want to put these guys in sort of a pressure cooker and see what they do with it. And I'm excited to see who can maybe make something happen here. We saw McWhorter there on that last restart trying to make something happen. Couldn't get connected with Calvert. So you better, that we talked about earlier. Did you put in the time to figure out who you can work with, who can take a push, who can't take a push? Now you got to find those guys. And you gotta dig deep because you're gonna have to push to get to the checker flag first. I can guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, this is going to be worse than feeding time at the hog house. Everybody's going to want to be going right after that top spot and get there as early as they can. But here's the thing: we've seen most of these races decided on the final lap. I mean, once they come off of turn 4. They still have a good quarter of a mile before they get back to the start-finish line. There's a lot of room for success and a lot of room for failure in that last stretch of this racetrack, as it's going to be Ryzen Baker, Mark Whitley, Timothy Peters, Benjamin Richards, Jeremiah Holt, Kyle Deering, Barrett Morton, George Jewell, Tyler Merritt, and Joseph McWhorter, your restarting top 10. And I'll tell you what, I'm not a betting man, and I still don't think I could even take an idea or a flyer on any of this, basically these top 15 to come home in victory lane.
Yeah, so far Mark Whitley has shown to be making the right moves. Ryzen, unfortunately, keeps getting out too far ahead. There's just too many laps. He's going to have to hope that cautions come out really, really quick because Mark Whitley he's had the right strategy the last couple laps or last couple restarts. So, Ryzen's going to have to try something a little bit different. He's been taken off pretty early. I'd like to see him sort of back up, get some help there from Timothy Peters, not let Whitley kind of have control of the next lap and a half by being so far ahead. So we'll see what he does to come down to the Geico restart zone.
The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. The double natural of Ryzen Baker comes into the restart zone, drops the hammer, and once again gets a huge jump over the 18. They're going to get organized behind him and suddenly fall into line. We are 2 laps to go. The popsicle sticks are in the air, and Mark Whitley gets a run over top of the 77, but quickly loses it and now has to take a bump from the 56. Now it goes 77, 18, 73 on the low side. They're going to follow one another down the back stretch with 2 laps to go here. Oh, my goodness.
Not a great push from that outside line. Yeah. Whitley not getting the push that he needs. He's trying to get the 56 to push him, but he won't. Here comes the nod of Barrett Morton. We saw him, and the 56 actually pulls out of line. He's going to get turned.
Oh, the 56 gets turned. They start to collect. They stay down the green. Up, there's the caution. And we are going to have to rack and stack them and do it all over again.
Oh, somebody's on the roof. Lord have mercy. Who was on the roof?
Probably the first person on their way to the infield care center, that's for sure.
Ricky Siss Jr. on the roof. And we saw that happening right in front of us. My goodness.
Let's go to the replay. Ricky Siss Jr. down here just absolutely killing it.
Trying to see exactly who that started with. It started with the 56. There's so many names on this list, I can't find him. There he is, Benjamin Richards. He was trying to push. Yeah, we'll go back a little bit. He was trying to push. He's got the 50 behind him. That's Kyle Deering. They're racing for the lead position there. And the 56 was trying to push Whitley, and it just wasn't working. And it just seems like Richards just kind of moved up out of the way, like, okay, I'm going to let you go. And then the 50 is going to try to fill that gap. I mean, it's a green-white checkered. And unfortunately, Benjamin Richards comes right back down, and you can see, I mean, being a green-white checkered, nobody is lifting. And my gosh, cars everywhere.
Yeah, pandemonium. It's like my 7-year-old just walked in and kicked all the Hot Wheels cars across the floor. As we go on board here with Ricky Sisk Jr., who is looking back here, drifts to the high side, and the mayhem just cuts on in, and no place to go. Oh! No place to go. Sparks flying. I like the indicator light on the dashboard there, just in case you didn't know there was a problem.
It's like a master alarm.
Across the asphalt. Yeah.
Is Ricky Sisk going to just completely exit out and go back to pit lane? Obviously, major damage on that machine. So
Ricky's probably so mad they could wind up drop kicking a kitten right now, especially this late in the race.
Yeah. Drop kick something, that's for sure. Well, Baker, unbelievable so far. I mean, having the lead is a huge advantage. And that time, I think Ryzen did the right thing. Didn't allow Mark Whitley to have sort of room to play around there. And Timothy Peters right on the back bumper, the 77. Whitley just couldn't get the outside line rolling with the 56. And so Ryzen Baker now is in a position now on the second green-white checkered where the caution comes out. Whoever is leading when that caution comes out and they're in that particular timing zone, the race is over. So, Ryzen's going to have to. It's going to be interesting. If you're back here in the back, you got to pray that it goes green. You got to have enough time to build that momentum. But for Ryzen's like, hey, look, let's just go ahead and let's end this thing. Let's get out of here. Let's go to Bojangles, KFC, whoever's still open, and get us a bucket of chicken and get out of here. But if you're back here in fifth, you're Tyler Merritt, you're Mark Whitley, you're Alan Bergen, Tal Deering. These guys still bouncing around here up in the front of the field. You want this thing to go all the way so you can generate that run and get that checkered flag.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Ryzen Baker here, I mean, leading this race the way that it is, we look back, and Baker has Alan Bergen now leading the AM drivers. It's going to be Baker, Peters, Holt, Morton, Merritt, Whitley, McWhorter, and Bergen in eighth. Kyle Deering and George Jewell, they're both going to be rounding out your top 10. But Jewell right now running 8th overall in the pro, and Deering running 2nd. So a huge gap right now in the AM drivers. And sometimes I think this is, Survivor to some degree. These guys just haven't had their torches put out yet at this stage in the race, especially at a place like Talladega. As we take a look here at Alan Bergen, the pride of St. Louis, Missouri. He has no class. He likes Anheuser-Busch products. I know that personally. Forced me to consume one. But Alan
Forced.
Bergen, forced. It was a whole thing. But Alan Bergen, in his very first race here, I mean, that's got to be intimidating, especially to be around some of these bigger names in this league. I mean, Ryzen Baker, reasonably new to the league, but Timothy Peters and Jeremiah Holt and Barrett Morton, those are names with Joseph McWhorter right in front of you. You want to hitch your wagon to. So you've got to kind of, make those agreements, get those alliances formed, because once that white flag flies, that's all out the window.
Well, Jeremiah Holt has something to prove, because Jeremiah Holt was in the amateur division last season, now in the pro division. And so he's got something to prove here. And to come out here after being promoted to the pro division and come out here and get a win in the first race would be a massive statement for that 73. He's definitely got the talent. He doesn't always have the luck, but the talent he definitely has to go out there and win a pro championship. So he is in a great spot right here. I want to be that second in line on the bottom. You are the strongest, the most powerful car is that 73 right now, being second on the bottom. You kind of control this race. So it's up to him. He sort of dictates how the next lap and a half goes. And then the slingshot, the rubber band effect after that is what sets the tone. So, but he's going to need those laps. We don't need caution. The caution comes out, the race is over. We need to see it all the way to the end.
Well, and Jeremiah Holt was one of those drivers that we watched last year that I swore was going to be the first AM driver to get the natural win. But now he's got that promotion. The iRacing.com pace car gets out of the way. This is our last green-white checker, folks. So the next flag that's going to end this race is coming up right here on V-Speed. Baker holding. He's got that foot hovering just above the pedal. He drops the hammer, and off we go. The popsicle sticks are in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Baker and Timothy Peters going to duel it out down the front stretch. But Barrett Morton has control of the high side. He's going to make the move and take it 3 wide. The 74 gives a nudge, and now Bergen and McWhorter follow one another into 2 and down the backstretch. Bergen's going to swing to the high side. McWhorter stays the meat in the sandwich with the 77 holding the line at the bottom of this race. The 18 being shoved along by the 74 of Mark Whitley, and now it goes Peters, Whitley, and Baker. 1, 2, 3 they go, but McWhorter is just out here like a shark waiting for that first mistake to be made.
Barrett Morton, Baker gets pushed down to the apron, saves it just like people have done all night long, and now Timothy Peters going to take the lead. Here comes Mark Whitley as they're coming to the white flag. He's going to go around. He's got McWhorter, his teammate, behind him. He's going to push him. It all falls apart up front as they go 3 wide. White flag is down. He turns him. He turns his teammate.
The 72 turns his own teammate out.
No!
He's now going to be shuffled down to the bottom of the racetrack. The 36 and the 9 hold the high side. Watch the 9 of Barrett Morton now give the shove. The 73 of Jeremiah Holt runs down the bottom of the racetrack. The 29 in tow. The 28, I'm sorry, on the
Big
high
run.
side being pushed around. Watch this run on the high side. They've got all kinds of momentum. Alan Bergen with a full head of steam up against the safer barrier. The 73 to the inside gets a shove from the 29 of George Jewell. Jewell holding on and pushing him. We're going to watch him try to peel one off here as we come
Holt
back.
trying to hang on to it. He's getting bumped. He's getting moved.
Holt, ready to pick up his inaugural win after getting the promotion. They spin out behind him at the start-finish line, and Jeremiah Holt picks up the checkered flag here to start Season 4 at Talladega Superspeedway. He's followed across the start-finish line by George Jewell and Timothy Peters, as they're going to be your top 3. Barrett Morton finishes in 4th. Kyle Deering wins the AM for the evening.
Wow.
Stephen Heitz, William Gregory, Joseph McWhorter, Baker, and Alan Bergen.
Unbelievable. Did you see
10.
that? I told you, Dave. You're talking about the top 10 right now, but you ought to be talking about that final green-white checkered, which was amazing. And I told you, Jeremiah Holt there, second line. He had all the power. I thought he was going to be able to get it done, and we talked about it, and he did. Unbelievable race. Had to hang on to it as Mark Whitley and McWhorter make contact. Whitley goes spinning. McWhorter just shoots to the back, and then it's just a madhouse. As I don't know about you, but I think it's worth going back and watching that final lap one more time as we get to see McWhorter try to make the move. Whitley goes down to the bottom. Holt just trying to stay out of it. McWhorter does a fantastic job. He's going to hold 3 wide, and he's going to get a nice push from the 29. I don't know who the 29 is. I think they may have the wrong number. But down the back straightaway, you can see all kinds of movement as Jewell was out ahead, but just didn't get the push and didn't jump down in front of Holt. And then it's just a madhouse to the finish.
You know, that's how these super speedway races can go. I mean, you know, you're literally just waiting there with a loaded weapon, waiting to shoot your shot. And I mean, you know, the most patient sniper is the one who gets the job done. And tonight it's Jeremiah Holt, who, believe you me, I am excited for him because he gets that first win, first race of the season after being promoted to the pro division. And I swore last year that, you know, we were going to see him get that natural AM win, but he decides to put it on hold and get the pro win for tonight. Jeremiah Holt going to be joined on the podium by George Jewell and Timothy Peters. What a race we've had here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway.
Man, that delivered everything we wanted. We were so worried the caution was going to come out in that thing, and it didn't. They did a fantastic job. McWhorter did a great job of not coming back up and wrecking the whole, top 10, and that allowed him to race it out. And boy, did he do a great job Jeremiah Holt did of just maintaining his position, getting back down to the bottom, holding on because he was getting pushed like crazy, and held on to that car and was able to get to the finish line. It looks like he's just going to pull. He thought he was going to do burnouts.
He did, but we were watching the replay.
Oh, okay. Well, good for him. He made another victory lap, and man, awesome. I don't know, Dave. What do you think? I need a breath. Let's take a breather. Let's go to a commercial break. Let's thank our sponsors, and then we'll be right back.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway. Dave Riegel and Eddie Smith with you here in the V-Speed broadcast booth. I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight. And, of course, we also want to make sure that we take our time to tip our helmet to Hamza Khan, our Warrior Spotlight driver here in Goat Locker Racing. Hamza served in the U.S. Air Force for 6 years as a ground radio tech. He deployed to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and was stationed at Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho and Osan Air Force Base in Korea. And we are proud to have him here at GLR. We cannot thank him enough for his service, of course, and we can't thank all of you enough for tuning in with us tonight here at Talladega. Eddie, we have had an incredible finish to this race, and it definitely begs that we need to go over these finishing results. Jeremiah Holt, he's going to be on the top step of the podium and joined on the podium by George Jewell and Timothy Peters. Barrett Morton finishes in fourth with Joseph McWhorter, rounding out your top five. Ryzen Baker finishes in sixth position, while Kristen going to finish him, Jason Kristen, here in sixth position. I'm sorry, seventh position. My goodness, all of a sudden I can't read. Merritt's going to finish in eighth with Timothy Wilmus in ninth, and Logan Threlkeld rounding out the top 10 here in our race results for the Pro Division.
This is the Pro Division, yeah. James Goshen going to come out in 11th. Tyler Justice in 12th. Travis Bieber rolls off 13th. Mark Whitley there at the end, had the lead, got spun by his teammate. Unbelievable. Comes home in 14th. Michael Jones in 15th. J. Cam in 16th. Was lapped down pretty much the whole race, it felt like. Andy Kurtz comes home in 17th. Chance Taylor 18th. Brett Bieber in 19th. And Charles Stevens in 20th. 21st, Bubba Wallace. Brandon Wallace, the 99. Mike Browning. And then we've got a few drivers that we didn't get a whole lot of time to talk about. C. Angel. I don't even know who that is. Christian Angel. Good to have you here. And Daniel Cunningham, who I think they were out at the very, very beginning.
Yeah, that's definitely that was that very first caution. Then Kyle Deering, he's going to win things on the AM side for himself. And then Stephen Heights, he finishes 6th overall, but 2nd in the AM division. Then, of course, we go to William Gregory. He finishes in 3rd. Alan Bergen in 4th. Jamie Libke gets the 16 into 5th position. David Calvert in 6th. Then Kevin Price, he's going to be in 7th position. Then Richards is going to finish in 8th with, of course, Brock Price. He finishes in 9th. And Chuck Pegleg Feltz rounds out your AM top 10.
In 11th, you got Jacob Linke. Was up there up front. Just, man, it's so tough with a field this size to get to these finishes. Tough deal for Linke, but I know he'll be up there racing for a lot of amateur wins coming up this season. I feel it. Graham Connolly going to come home in that 12th position, 24th overall. Samuel Joseph, saw him up front, had a couple incidents, lost his front bumper twice. His front bumper guy not going to be too happy, but glad to have him here. 26th overall, 13th in the amateur division. Charles Abert in 14th. Conrad Weeding in 15th. Noah Hogard in that 16th position. Alan Smith in 17th. Brian Froheiger in 18th. 19th, Matt Myers. And David Calvert Sr. in 20th.
Mark Cofield brings it home in 21st with Ricky Sist Jr. in 22nd. Then David Cole going to finish 23rd with Fuller in 24th. Doug Macedo brings it home in 25th with Josh Unger in 26th. Dan Ellingson comes home in 27th with Moore, Parks, and Dias rounding out.
I think these guys were the ones who didn't make the qualifying. So sorry to kind of put that up on the screen. I think Josh Unger is where so Macedo is going to finish on the tail end of the field in 22nd. These guys did not qualify, which is why they have plus 49 laps there. So, but that is your amateur results. We say we talk to some of these drivers, man. I want to hear from these guys.
Yeah, listen, it's about time that we finally hear from them because we've been yammering all night, and now it's their turn.
Well, let's do it. Let's start with your winner. Going to be caught up with Dave Jeremiah Holt.
Hey, Jeremiah, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Dave. Yes.
Buddy, listen, we got a chance to talk a bunch of times last season when you were still an AM driver, but now tonight you take the promotion and you get the checkered flag in your first race as a pro driver. How does that feel tonight?
It was a lot of fun. You never know on that last lap what's going to happen, but it worked out in my favor tonight. So I was just happy to be there in the end. Before the last green, white, checkered, I was more than happy just to ride third. I was going to be good, and then it just worked out. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, Eddie kind of called that one. He knew that you were basically in the catbird seat waiting to make that move, and you did. And I mean, that patience and that skill is something that I saw all last season, in this league. So what are you looking forward to as we get ready to turn the page? And now that we get this first race of season 4 out of the way, what's going to be the focus moving forward in the year?
I just want to finish races. And, if I can finish in the top 5, top 10, I'll be happy with that. But just getting good finishes, this is going to be apparently a very large field. So just completing races and see how it works out, That's all I can do.
Absolutely. All right, brother. Well, listen, man, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who do you need to tip your helmet to tonight?
I'd like to thank Lincoln Tech and Save 22, Glove Station, V-Speed, and, of course, Goat Locker for putting all this on. It's a lot of fun, and they help a lot of people.
All right, my friend, congratulations, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Eddie, I believe you have with you now, I think it should be George Jewell down there on pit road. I can't see up here from the booth.
I do. I got George in the booth, and George, you're covered up by the I'm going to get that off the screen so we can see your pretty face. George, man, what a race. First off, I want to know, you got 42 drivers in the race tonight. There's a lot of cars. What was your strategy as you come into this? You saw, oh my God, look at all these people. Some people didn't even get to race, and you've got a full field. You knew it was going to be sort of messy. What was your plan from the very beginning?
Well, I kind of feel bad for some of the big heavy hitters that normally run with us and everything that just didn't make it. And I was 4/1000ths from getting booted on this one. My thought was avoid, just pick somebody and ride with them. Try not to push them, try not to kill them and everything. And if we can get through the field, we can get through the field. I was looking for my teammates who all started up front. And by the time I got to the front, they were already in the back. So that's the way it goes, I guess, in super speedway racing.
Yeah. Well, so you're trying to find people, and as you get down to the end, you can start to see the front a little bit. You start to see that clean air out there, and you go, "Wait a minute, I'm getting closer to this thing." You get down to that final restart. What was the plan on that final green, white, checkered? You were in a good spot there. What was your plan? Did you have a plan, or were you just kind of letting the cards fall where they may?
My plans never work out, to be honest, Eddie. So I picked somebody and everything, and he made the move going through the middle, and I went with him. And all I can do from there on, it was either give up a spot or get the points the best I could and everything. And I tried to push Jeremiah to the front, and then by the time we looked in the mirror and everything, we didn't really have no help at all there. So. That's kind of the way it worked out and everything. I was just trying to push and try to get to the end and get as many points as I could.
Well, you got so close. Second place. If I were to tell you coming into this race that out of 42 drivers, you come home in second, what would you tell me before this race?
I roll the dice again because I think you're nuts. So,
Well, hey, look, fantastic job. You always got a lot of people in chat that are cheering you on. They were definitely doing it, trying to push you forward, just not quite enough, but less than a tenth there at the start finish line. Congratulations. What a great way to start. Starting in the back, sort of midway pack, coming all the way to the front at the end. Just incredible. So congratulations to you. Second place, first race of the season. Who do you have to thank?
I'd like to thank Goat Locker for letting me run with them, Jam Printing and Promotions, Glove Station, V-Speed, definitely. Thank you guys up in the booth. And I got one of those Alexander PCs and everything, and it's really kicking some butt right now. I'm enjoying it.
Love it. Love it. Dude, that is a dadgum Goat Locker fella right there. He knows the deal, man. Laid it on thick. I like it. Well, George, congratulations on second place, man.
I appreciate it, guys, and you guys have a good evening.
All right. Love it. Well, I think, Dave, you are caught up with your third place finisher, Timothy Peters.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Timothy, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. Listen, man, great finish tonight. You finish in third position overall. I mean, after starting back in 15th, that's got to be a little bit nerve-wracking down there.
Yeah, it definitely is. We were kind of a little on edge about getting all of our AM drivers in, getting some of the pro drivers in, just, getting everybody up to speed on how to practice, how to qualify, how to be fast. Once we got everybody in, except for one of them, we were actually, pretty ecstatic for having the whole entire field except one of us in there. And it was just, man, we have 40 laps, ride. It's super speedway racing. I've done this time and time again. Just ride, save your stuff. If there's a huge wreck, just check up, do 10 miles an hour, get through it, and then restart. And it's just try and survive until the last 10, last 5.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, a lot of times this is a ride to survive at a place like Talladega. I mean, obviously there's a lot of aerodynamics that come into this and trying to take the run when it comes to you. I mean, how much patience does that take, especially when you can smell the finish line, but you don't want to take that run too early or burn up your stuff, that half second that ultimately can make the difference between first and third.
Yeah, absolutely. So especially with these cars, I'm kind of new to the ARCA cars, but they draft really well. It's if you have 2 or 3 cars, you don't really feel the draft, but once you have a full field of 43 cars, you can definitely feel it. So it's just, again, ride to survive. Once it's the 4 or 5 laps to go, it's gloves off, man. It's just try and get where you can get. Obviously, don't kind of cause any accidents, try and fill a hole as fast as you can. And again, dude, it is just all gloves off super speedway racing when it's 5 or 4 to go.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank and who do you need to tip your cap to before we get out of here?
Definitely got a lot of good amount of them. All my teammates, pros, AMs, my crew chief, Cody, time in and time out. He's on top of the box. We're top 5 no matter where we're at. Mom, dad watching at home, Ackerman Seal Coating, Speakeasy Pen Emporium, Joe Gibbs Racing, for allowing them to let me work on cars and understand how things work. And then obviously to iRacing, Above the Yellow Line, Sim Motion, and Glove Station, and to GLR as well for allowing me to come back and run more series than just the trucks with those guys. So, and you guys in the broadcast booth, you guys do an amazing job every week. So appreciate it.
All right, my man. Well, listen, once again, congratulations, and we will see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. And one last one for you here, Eddie Smith. I believe you've got Kyle Deering waiting in the wings.
Well, they say to save the best for last, and dadgummit, that's exactly what we do. And he's been patiently waiting, but he's a race winner. Kyle Deering, your first winner in the amateur division this season. Take the first race of the season. Kyle, how are you feeling right now?
Whirlwind of emotions. Off the first corner, went from 12th to 38th. Car in front of me had some issues and just kind of out there all on an island by ourselves and feel very helpless. And that long green flag run allowed me to get back up front, follow the good guys. So sat behind McWhorter the whole time and just went to the front.
Well, what were you noticing out there? What was sort of the, initial, because when we first kind of went green, man, it felt like that everybody was kind of calm, cool, and collected. And then as the rubber band kind of tightened up and everybody got close, it got kind of wild. The car, maybe a little bit nervous feeling. What were you feeling out there?
It was very, very unsteady. You'd hit somebody even remotely off the center line and they were, saw it countless times on the backstretch where you'd hit them and they'd go below the yellow line. So there was a lot of, me personally, just really let off a lot instead of doing a lot of pushing until I needed to towards the end there.
Well, so you get down to the end there, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, knowing that there's a split. You've got the pro drivers and the amateur, but everybody's racing for the same thing. However, you don't necessarily have to be the overall winner to win this race. And being in the amateur division, you just have to finish ahead of the other. How much of that went into your thinking of the last restart or the last couple restarts and how you approached it? Did that go into your thought process at all, or just not even think about it?
Truthfully, I'm looking for the number on Race Labs. I'm looking for that one, and I didn't even know until I was halfway down the back straightaway, and Jamie Lipke brought it up, and I was like, "Oh, really? Well, that's cool."
So you didn't even know that you won the race. I love that. That is awesome. Well, you did win the race, so congratulations. You're the first winner this season. You sit with Jeremiah Holt as the winner here at Talladega. You got that win in your belt. You're locked into the playoffs. That's got to feel really good. Man, congratulations. I can't tell you how excited we are to see folks come in and get those wins, and you're able to get it done. Congratulations again. Amazing, amazing job. And as always, man, at the end of these things, who do you have to thank?
Obviously, Glove Station for putting this race on. Without them, we wouldn't be racing here every Monday night, and 60 cars to show up to qualify is absolutely phenomenal. You all here at V-Speed for putting on this broadcast. For all of us, get to look pretty out there. Of course, Next Level Racing, it's always awesome to see the sim rigs that go out every so often. The Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Alexander PCs, Sim Motion. Of course, iRacing, wouldn't be here without them. And then Above the Yellow Line.
All right, well, there you have it. Your amateur winner here tonight at Talladega. Kyle Deering takes the win. And go celebrate, Kyle. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Well, Eddie, another one in the books here in the Glove Station ARCA series, and the Lincoln Tech Fall series is now underway. Wow, what a way to start the year.
I can't think of a better one. It was unbelievable. And to have 42 cars, everybody's always worried about it being a mess, and while there were some big ones, but it's to be expected. And I think for what we had, for having two different divisions, for having 42 cars, I think it was a fantastic race. No better way to start off this Lincoln Tech Fall Series at the Glove Station ARCA Series here at Talladega. And these guys delivered. We saw a couple times people got a little bit out of shape, dropped down to the apron, able to hang on to the car, shows their skill. Amateur, pro, it's just a classification. These guys are just flat out good. And the rest of the season is going to be incredible. It's not going to miss. Every single week is going to be exciting. There's going to be storylines galore. Look, We've got so many races, though. I don't want to sit here and harp on the Glove Station ARCA series, but to me, it's going to be one of the most competitive and fun series that we have each and every week. Definitely come by Monday nights and watch this thing. It's just a blast. We saw amazing racing all the way through the field, and as we hit some other tracks, I think it's just going to keep getting better, Dave.
Yeah, getting better it will do, especially as we get deeper into the season. But make sure, if you haven't done so already, that you subscribe to V-Speed and turn on those notifications so you can be told every time we go live, especially right here on Goat Locker Racing. And we want to thank all of you for making us a part of your evening, for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire on the ones and twos and everything in between, Eddie Smith, we want to thank you one more time for hanging out with us tonight and tomorrow. And every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.